He's absolutely Jason, he's absolutely gay. He'll absolutely brighten up the darkest rainy day. He's funny and loves movies, he's smart and he's a Jew. He's an actor and an activist and wants to hear from you.
Hey everybody, welcome to Absolutely Jason Stuart. Sorry for the late start today. We have today my good friend, filmmaker, singer, writer, producer, director, award winner, Patrik Ian Polk. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
You know what's interesting is I remember the time that I met you, and I don't know if you remember because you were so barraged with people. We were at the Regent Theater, which now I don't know what it is anymore, on La Brea, and it was the debut.
It's like a church.
Is it a church now?
I know they do there's some kind of super
preacher things they rent
some kind of progressive, church, yeah.
And you had the debut of the web series version of Noah's Ark. And I remember that you were doing it way before anybody else was doing it. You just said, I'm doing this. And for those at home who don't know, Noah's Ark was the first, I guess, black, gay, single camera comedy on television ever with all black characters.
Only.
First,
the only.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm saying it because I don't know. I don't. Someone will call in or email or something and say, "Who are you?" I did. What's it say? That no one ever heard of. But I remember the excitement in the theater. It was the same exact excitement when we were at Outfest seeing the British version of Queer as Folk. It was that same feeling of seeing something that just looked and felt like us. And even though I'm not black, I still loved it because it felt and seemed like people that I knew, people that I hung out with. It was funny, it was sexy, it was soapy, it was dramatic. It had all these elements that I hadn't seen. It was so exciting. I remember meeting you there and wanting to just give you my card and say, how do I become a part of this? And how do I become a part of it? Because that's been my goal in life, is always to, people say, do you network a lot? And I said, no, I don't even like to use that word because it seems so not real. I said, I just like to find people that I want to work with and that I think are talented. What was that like, for that to happen?
Well, it was...
You don't have to wear those headsets.
I was about to ask you that, did I?
Because no one calls us, yeah. It's just you and me.
It was an interesting time, it's weird because I've been thinking about this a lot lately because at the time I was a lot, it was 10
years ago, right?
No, it was more like more than 10.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
God, I can't
started in like 2004, it must have been, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. So the actual web series, yeah. So I think I had, I'd done one film and then...
you had done a film called Punks. Which was nominated for the John Cassavetes Award at the Spirit Awards, which is, for those who don't know, the Spirit Awards is the independent Oscars. And just to get up for that, and I don't know about you, I'm a major John Cassavetes fan.
Oh, yeah. No,
he changed the way I saw film.
That's a career highlight for sure. I'm a major follower. I love his...
A Woman Under the Influence, there's nothing more extraordinary than that film.
Gloria.
A Woman Under the Influence is mine.
So I'd done Punks, and I'd been working as a production executive before that with the Babyface and Tracy Edmonds and MTV. And then when Punks came out, I decided to leave that other life and focus on being a filmmaker full time. So a couple of years of developing, I remember I sold a TV show, a half-hour comedy idea to MTV. And I developed that for like 2 years, and it was a long process, and then...
That wasn't Licks. I saw something.
No, that's something no one ever heard of. It was like a college comedy. And then MTV, executive shake-up at the network, and that whole division went away, and then my project went away. And I remember feeling like that was the first time I really was faced with the idea of, which is very common in Hollywood, of developing something and then it not getting made.
Oh, the people that have careers.
Exactly.
They make money. They're writers that have beautiful homes that never ever see the light of day.
Exactly, because there's so many movies that just don't get made. So, but that as an artist, that was like devastating to me, and so I was like, no more of this. So that's when I said, okay, I'm going to do this Noah's Ark thing. and it's going to be a web series. I didn't call it a web series because there were no web
It
series
wasn't-
at the
it-
time.
the
That
idea
didn't
didn't
exist.
exist.
But I said I'm going to.
It's like a short film of sorts.
What I said is I'm going to find a way to market this directly to the consumer.
Which is what Louis C.K. just did.
Exactly.
He has a new show called
I was reading a drama series.
a drama series
the name of it.
called Horace and Pete.
Yeah.
And I watched the whole thing. I paid the $30 and watched it.
Oh, yeah.
And I got to say, I loved it. I loved it.
Okay.
You know, I just loved it. It was, you know, Edie Falco and
Oh,
Coleman
nice.
Domingo has
So
a
how does it
little-
work? You pay and then you can stream it?
Yeah.
Or you pay
yeah,
and
you're
download
paying,
it?
you download or stream it. I prefer to stream.
You streamed it. Oh,
And I
cool.
streamed it, and you watch it right there on your computer, just like you do Netflix.
Only one time, or how long do you watch
You
it?
can keep it. He lets you keep it.
Oh, cool. So you should share your streaming with me because I don't want to pay $30. I'm an independent artist like Louis. Well, Louis is not that independent anymore.
Not
He's
anymore.
a
No,
big
he had $1 million
millionaire.
to throw out.
Because
That's how much it cost him.
But that was the idea. So it was like, but on a obviously a much smaller scale. Because I had sort of, I had done some. I've been called in to do some brainstorming work with the Black AIDS Institute, and they invited all these different Black gay men from all walks of life. You know, the medical world, business, media, etc. And it was sort of to brainstorm ways that we could, you know, help them address the issue of the HIV epidemic. And so it was the first time that I had this sense of there being a network of powerful, successful Black gay men across the country that, you know, might want to support the kind of work that I was doing. So I put all that together and came up with the idea to do the show. I think I remember I went to a Black Gay Pride party at the El Rey Theater. And I walked in and I was looking for my friends and, you know, the El Rey, and it was packed. And that's when it really hit me right after I'd been to this thing with the Black AIDS Institute that, oh, this is a market. This is a group that have, you know, money to spend. People have traveled here from all over. So I said, why don't I make something for them, market it directly to them. They'll pay for it, and I'll just kind of keep going. I'll sell an episode, you know. And we just never even really got to that point because I did the short, I did the pilot, I raised money.
It was called the
and then
Black
Logo
Sex in the
picked it
City.
up. Yeah.
That's what it's called at the time, I remember.
Yeah.
Black Gay Sex in the City.
Exactly. And then Logo, MTV was starting Logo, and I had never intended to go to any networks because I thought no network was going to say yes to a Black gay, you know, television show. And they heard about us. We started getting press. You know, we got the support of HRC. They funded like a tour, and we went around to like 24 cities at prides
Because I think
all
our
kinds of things.
paths, because at the time I was doing stand-up for
Yeah.
HST, and I think our paths crossed a couple
Exactly.
times doing that.
And
And you got nominated for two Images Awards when the film came out.
yeah, we did the film, 3 Image Award nominations, director, writer, best.
So
best
what's
film.
the real? Can you talk about it?
And
now?
we won the GLAAD Award for.
Oh, you did? Yeah.
film, yeah.
Best series.
Best film.
What happened at Logo? Can you ever talk about that, or is that still like because you had 2 very successful seasons. The show was probably their flagship show in the same way that RuPaul Drag Race is now.
Mm-hmm.
It was very popular. Everyone knew about it. It wasn't a black show. It was a show that we just dug. I mean, I think. And people just loved it and wanted to watch it. And then all of a sudden, they wouldn't let you do a 3rd season. And it didn't make any sense.
I mean, you know, I don't know. It didn't make sense to us at the time. We weren't really sure what was going on, but they wanted to do the movie, so we were working. So I said, okay, I'm just going to focus on this and make this, you know, we're going to knock this movie out of the park, which we did.
And it made $1 million.
Yeah, no, the movie did well.
I mean, which is
you know,
nuts for a
yeah.
Love is Strange that I did. I think made $1 million, and that had Alfred Molina, Marissa Tomei, and John Lithgow.
Yeah.
And that had major stars. Everybody had an Oscar, an Emmy, or a Tony or something, and you didn't have anybody that had Oscar, Emmy, or Tony.
No.
And you made $1 million. That was extraordinary.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, I think, again, you can never really get a straight answer out
No.
of people. The official story that we heard, I mean, was, you know, that ultimately, and I think on some level this is true, they are a small network. Their budgets aren't as big as the other MTV, the other Viacom networks. And, you know, they're a niche network. And they weren't going to do any more scripted programming. It's just too expensive. And they haven't done any since then. It's all been reality. I think specifically, if we had gone to a 3rd season, like I think the cast salaries would have bumped up. And mind you, we're talking about cable and small-time cable, so it's not like we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of
No,
thousands of dollars.
but
We're talking about little bumps, you know what I mean? They weren't making
from
crazy
one of the
money.
actors who was in a movie called Tangerine, the ability to make movies has changed so much. You could do this show for half the price.
Oh, now you can.
And
but,
I think
you
that
know,
they
back
didn't
then, and we did everything because we moved. We did the first season in L.A. They tried to go. They tried to do it non-union. As soon as we went outside the set, they shut us down. Now, mind you, if they had explained to me, or if they not even explained to me, if they had said, this is likely to happen, so we need to kind of keep it contained, then I would have just done the show. We could have never left the stage. Mm-hmm. We had a beautiful sound stage. We shot the same stage where they shot The Office, I think, in Culver City. But so that drove the price up, because once we got shut down by the unions, they had to renegotiate, and the show went union, which was great for all of my, black crew, because they all got automatically
there's something
into
about
the union.
There's just something about it that smacks to me, and maybe I'm a little bit of a troublemaker.
But what I was saying is, so second season we moved to Vancouver, so that was a whole big shift.
Which seems crazy.
The movie, I ended up shooting the movie. We were going to shoot in Vancouver, but they couldn't even make that budget work. I remember being on a conference call with all the Canadian producers and the network, and it was going to die. I could smell it. It was dying.
Mm-hmm. I remember I was in Carol Ann's office, your producer. I was in her office when she was talking to you, and you guys were so upset. I don't know what I was doing there for something, and I remember everybody going, this is just not going to happen.
Oh, yeah. And so one of the Canadian producers had, because they've been trying, can we do it in Toronto? Can we do it in Montreal? Is there anything? And she was like, the only place we can make it work, she said jokingly, is, Nova Scotia, because they have some special extra tax credits because they're trying to encourage film over there. And we got off that call, and I remember Googling Nova Scotia and looking at some pictures, and I was like, okay, this has a very Martha's Vineyard feel. Boom, boom, boom. Called them up and said, okay.
Was the film originally supposed to be in Martha's Vineyard?
No. Where was it going to be? In L.A.
At a beach house or something?
They were getting married. It was a wedding, but it was going to all be in, L.A. And I was like, okay, now they're getting married. They're going to Wade's family house in Nova Scotia, in Martha's Vineyard.
So on that note, I want to show the clip.
So I said, send me to Nova Scotia. Send me for a weekend, and so they sent me. And
you found, and you did it, and you made it work. I want to show a clip from the film, because I actually love the film just the best. I loved it so much because I think it opened up the story. Let's show that clip. Can we do that?
Three years ago, they broke ground on TV. The screenwriter, the scholar, the playboy, and the captain.
Ricky, bitch, where you at?
Now, they're back, and so is the one that almost got away.
About a toast to Noah.
To Noah.
To tie the knot.
Wade and I are getting married this weekend.
Married?
It's time to announce Operation Perfect Wedding Weekend.
Or not.
Child, it ain't gonna work.
Not a snowball's chance.
I give him 2 months.
Here comes the drama.
Wade and Noah have a unique set of problems.
Have you guys decided on names yet?
We haven't decided.
Noah! It's bad luck for the groom to see each other before the wedding.
The sex.
You know this is our last chance.
For what?
Illicit premarital sex.
The secrets.
It's about the wedding.
What wedding?
She doesn't know.
And surprises.
Surprise!
He's been obsessed with you ever since you turned him down.
You're not out to your folks?
Breakfast in bed for the happy couple.
This weekend will put their relationships to the test.
I need to know, do you want to marry me?
For better or for worse.
And thanks for the wonderful gifts of love and friendship. Amen.
Amen.
I will always have your back.
Life is the script, Noah. You're the writer of your own life. It's time to take control.
Only thing I care about is making this the wedding to remember.
Noah's Ark, jumping the broom.
Girl, you drunk, girl.
For tickets, previews, and more, visit noahsarkmovie.com.
I love the film. I was in the theater. I saw it at the Sunset 5, which is now the Robert Redford Sundance Theater, and I loved it. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about Punks. We're going to talk about Blackbird. We're going to talk about You and Me. We're going to talk about why we've never worked together. We're going to talk about everything. We'll be back in just a moment. Please stay with us. Don't change that channel. Oh, my God, we don't have a channel.
Oh, I ain't no.
I'm Money B, and you can kiss my ass.
Let me swallow my snot.
That's sexy.
Keep up the good work, Mild Net. Ah!
Let me see how I'm gonna come and check out. No, I love you.
Oh, yeah, why
No cyclocyanabin, the little...
Do you take one? There you go.
Always switching up. Always switching up.
What was that?
It's my wedding band. Jumped out my. Oh my God! I hope it's an omen.
Call my wife.
He keeps moving away.
Hi, I'm Rob Schneider, and you're watching T Hollywood V.
Z Hollywood TV.
I'm not gonna bang.
Nailed it.
What we do here is go back.
Hi, I'm Rob Schneider.
Hey guys, what's up? This is Matt McAndrew. Hey everyone, I'm Tyler Oakley.
And I'm Corey Cool.
Hi, I'm Martha Madison.
This is Slink Johnson, a.k.a. Black Jesus, b.k.a. Godzilla lungs.
Hello, I'm Eric Roberts.
Yeah, what's up? This is Craig Wayans.
Hi, this is Brad Williams, and as you can tell, I have never gotten high.
Speedy Don.
And I am the fabulous Stephen King.
What's good? It's your boy Marcus Park, man. We keeping it lit.
I'm Money B.
Hey, I'm John Sally.
What's up, y'all? This is Crazy Bone in the building.
It's your girl Shantae Wayans. It's your favorite DJ, DJ Spark.
And it's your boy Street Symphony.
And you're watching Z.
Z Hollywood TV.
And we're back at Absolutely Jason Stuart with my friend, filmmaker Patrik Ian Polk. So let's talk about Punks. Now, Punks was, I think I had heard of Punks, but I had not seen it until after Noah's Ark.
Mm-hmm.
And then I rented a VHS and watched it. And that film, you were like shot out of a cannon. Because you were so unapologetic. Oh, you know how I knew about the film was because of Jasmine.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
I had done a film that never got released called Gay TV the Movie. It was really pretty kitsch and weird and odd, and it was done by this guy in Texas. And Jasmine and I lived in this house next to each other, the producer's house. We got to be really good friends. And how did that beget?
Well,
because you did that out of nowhere.
Yeah. Well, I was my intention was to be a filmmaker my whole life. So I went to film school.
Where did you study?
USC.
Oh, cool.
Grad school. Went to very nice undergrad. I had so the script for Blackbird, my last film that came out last year, I had written in college. I had adapted this from the novel that I read as a freshman and loved, and it was the first gay black piece of art at all that I had consumed in my life. You know what I mean? As far as, we know there are like closeted gay singers and stuff like that, but for like real like black, I hadn't really discovered James Baldwin when I was younger. You know what I mean? We didn't learn about him in high school. Or
There's so many people that didn't exist. Yeah.
So Blackbird was the first thing that I read, and so I'd adapted it in film school, and then I started working on the production executive side of things from right out of film school at MTV. So I remember talking to a filmmaker friend, and I was like, I don't know, I feel like I'm getting off track from what I want to be doing. And he was like, well, you need to write something else. You can write while you do this other job. So he said, write something that you know, write with something that's really close to you. And Punks is what I wrote. And then so I worked at MTV, and this was like the heyday of MTV.
Tell us who was in Punks. Can you show us the poster? Tell us who was in Punks so everybody knows.
Seth Gilliam, who now is in Walking Dead. He's the priest on Walking Dead.
Yes.
But he's been on Oz and The Wire and all this stuff.
Yeah, was like, he's really,
Back then, I first saw Seth, he played like a bit part in the later years of The Cosby Show. He was Erica Alexander's love interest. And I always thought the character he played was really soft and kind of,
sweet.
Yeah, and sweet and seemed a little fey to me. So he always stuck in my mind. And then I looked him up, and we had Dwight Ewell from Chasing Amy, Jasmine, of course, who I knew from the local LA drag scene, and it was the first time I'd seen, when I saw Jasmine, it was the first time I'd seen drag done Jasmine would come out and do full on Janet Jackson choreograph, full on numbers, and I was so I was a big fan.
She was a persona, person, and it was the first time I'd ever been in a club where gay men would specifically, or supposedly straight men would come in who were interested in women who were transgender but not completely half and half. It was like I'd never been in a club. I'd never had that experience. It was in the late 90s.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I was around trans people and started being educated to what that world was. And no one looked at me when I walked in the club. And I remember, I thought, I'm not that. I mean, I look pretty. I had my turtleneck on. I was looking. And I remember thinking, man, what's this about?
Well, yeah.
And it's just a whole different world.
Yeah. So then we had Vanessa Williams, and I like to say, I didn't discover
which
Rockman
Vanessa
Dumbo.
Williams?
Dark-skinned Vanessa Williams.
Not the one who was on Murder One. She's a doll.
Yeah.
The one who was not the from Ugly Betty.
Yeah, not Miss America, Vanessa Williams. I made that movie with Babyface and Tracy. So they hired me from MTV. And when I went to that job, I said to myself, no, within a year, you have at least got to make a short film. Like when you take your vacation, make a short film. So I remember they were going on vacation and we were having some time off. They were going on a cruise to Greece with their family, right? I mean, a yacht, private yacht. And we had a meeting and then to go over the projects.
And you're wondering how you're going to pay rent.
No, and I'm saying I was hitting them up for half of the budget for my short film version of Punks that I was going to do. And they listened to it. They listened to my pitch, and they thought it was funny. And then Babyface just says, okay, we like the idea, so why do the short instead of just doing the feature? Why not just do the feature?
Wow.
And I was like, okay. So I gave them the script. They came back from the vacation, and the script had been passed around. The entire family had read the script. The mother, the cousin, and everyone was quoting lines from it. And so we made that movie. And I'll tell you a funny story, like you say, shot out of a cannon. I look at Punks now, and it's tame by regular today's standards. But then it was really daring and racy even. And I remember the big casting issue we had with Punks was there's a big kiss at the end. The protagonist gets the guy, and they have this kiss. And we could not cast the love interest for Seth because all these guys, nobody wanted to do this kiss. Shamar Moore, Alan Payne, big actors at the time, like Michael Jai White, nobody wanted to do this kiss. They liked the script, they liked it, they wanted to work with Babyface, but they were afraid of the kiss. So finally, Rockman came in probably 10 times. He was a trooper, and finally I was like, Tracy, him, he's the one. And you want to know who, one of the actors, I won't say who it is, but he had a girlfriend at the time, and his girlfriend worked with Prince. So this is one of my Prince stories, I know. And I'm like a major ridiculous Prince fan.
Who isn't?
And so they were hanging out with Prince, and he was talking about what his work, and I guess was talking about Punks. So I get a call weeks later, and he says, "Listen, Prince has been calling. He literally, since I told him about the film, he will not stop asking her when he can see it. He's demanding to see the film and see it now.
Demanding.
Is there any way, anything that you can do? I can just tell him no. I know you're still editing or whatever." And I was like, it's Prince. Of course I can give him the film. I remember doing an output of the rough cut, a videotape, VHS, giving it to her to give to Prince. And apparently he would watch films privately and then write letters to the filmmakers, critiques or whatever. I never got the letter. Apparently he wrote a letter. I don't think he cared for the film. What she told me is he thought it was too much. You know what I mean? It was, as opposed to.
It's hard to believe that Prince would think something is too much.
Right. And Punks,
this is a guy who comes to an Academy Awards with 2 girls. These are my girls,
And used to perform in G-strings and high heels.
Oh, please! I saw him perform in an outfit. It was a yellow pantsuit with no underwear. This pantsuit had a belt. My mother had the same exact pantsuit and earrings.
So yeah, I never saw.
He looked like a Jewish woman. In Miami all the time.
He thought it was rather than sort of bringing us forward and helping people to accept that it would be too much. It was too in your face.
Wow.
I know, Prince, right?
What year was it?
99, 2000. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people, and I think sometimes it comes with the best intentions, but if there weren't people like you, I don't think the changes would have been made because so many people followed.
That's what I've always believed. You got to push the envelope as hard as you can because there's always going to be pushback. But if you push it so far, it's never going to be pushed all the way back to the starting point.
I think the thing about your movies, and almost all of them, and it seems always almost weird to me that you've never done this, all of your movies are sort of like musicals. I mean, they sort of have the feeling of being a musical. You know, that seems to me, if you were going to direct something next, I don't know if you're going to do that. I think you would be.
I would love to do a musical. I have some ideas. I mean, everything. You're right. I mean, Punks had the drag queens, and they would perform.
But still,
all
there was something about the
performances.
And even in Noah's Ark, there was a musical feel. The music is very a part of the story. If people sang in this movie, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't seem odd. You know what I mean? There is a feeling to the high comedy and the funness of it, and music is very much a part of you because you had your own band for a while, you know. So it's a big part of who you are. So after Noah's Ark, after the film being such a success, after Logo not wanting to do, you know, basically shows about gay people. You know, why should we have so many gay people? It already is gay. We have to get the straight people. Could you imagine going to BET and saying, we don't really want to do too many shows about black people. We want to get white people to like us. I still don't understand the whole concept of Logo and even why it just doesn't make any sense to me. You know, it's like, oh, God, could you imagine doing that with any other network? It just seems like gay people were like at the bottom of this self-esteem bar, you know. But after Noah's Ark, I thought after the success of this movie, they were either going to do the series again or do something, and nothing happened. And then you did The Skinny.
Yeah, well, after the Noah's Ark movie, I sold 2 pilots, 2 different networks. Well, so Logo did come back to me.
Wonderful.
After the movie and say, okay, because the movie was so successful, it was kind of I think they were taken by surprise, and they wanted a reboot. And so I came up with this whole concept. They hired me. I wrote a pilot script for that. It was like Noah and Wade moved to New York. It was very like, you know, Mary Tyler Moore, girl in the city, juggling the work and the life at home. And then that they decided scripted too expensive. Then I could do scripted. And I had sold a drama series to another network, and same thing. They weren't ready to do. They didn't want to do an hour drama. So I was frustrated again with spending a year and change working on this stuff, and then nothing was going to happen. So this was like February of whatever year that was, and I wrote, prepped, cast, and shot The Skinny. We shot it in June of that year. So Skinny was a result of frustration with Hollywood and the way things go. So. And then, of course, we had starring in The Skinny, Jussie Smollett, who has gone on to become the star of Fox's Empire. So one could maybe say that I have an eye for talent.
Just a little.
They had, I think one of the magazines, Out or Advocate, one of them did an article on the top 20 gay actors of color. And Wilson Cruz sent it to me, and he was like, oh, my God, did you see this list? You started the careers of like half of these people.
Well, my hope is that one day you'll like middle-aged Jews. And then, of course, you know, Blackbird. I mean, and you had talked about that from the moment I met you. When we had our first lunch, you know, at Basics. I remember we had talked about that film. And
my apartment was just up the street from there.
Yeah, I remember. And I wondered how, I mean, what, so many questions. Number one, Isaiah Washington. He had come off Grey's Anatomy. Fabulous fucking actor.
Oh, yeah.
Fabulous.
One of the best. For sure.
So good on the show. And obviously there was something that happened on the set, and he said something he shouldn't have said, and he apologized. It was fine. And then, what possessed him to go on television in front of the entire international press after winning the Golden Globe for Best Dramatic Series? I didn't say that. and he used the and said and sort of dug a ditch and jump in after he was totally, everything was okay. It was fine, and then they jumped in a ditch, and then you basically resurrected him, and that in Blue Car. Is that what's called? Blue Car?
Blue Caprice.
Blue
She's
Caprice,
amazing in that.
which
oh my
is
God, yeah.
an incredible film.
I mean, it's a weird thing because he hasn't stopped working. It's just that whole thing happened. But what I don't like is, and I hate this, is stuff happens all the time. You know this. Stuff happens on sets. People blow up, exchange words. It happens every day. But
the Batman
with
guy,
certain people,
Lily Tomlin on a film.
But with certain people, read brown people, you get branded, with this reputation, and it's really kind of unfair. I mean, he told me the whole story. It was a beef between two actors on a set. He didn't even call the gay actor. It's not like he said to him, you faggot. I think he was talking to Patrik Dempsey. They were having an argument and mind you, years later, who got unceremoniously written off the show but Patrik Dempsey for all this bad behavior? He's apparently having an affair with
I didn't know that.
Affair with, this is all in the news, an affair with a crew member and all this stuff. He's now divorced, I think. There may have been other issues, but
oh wow.
So he and Isaiah
because they just kill you on Grey's Anatomy.
He and Isaiah had beef, and they were arguing.
Isaiah didn't get killed.
And Isaiah said to him, you're not going to punk me because apparently Patrik had been bullying TR. And Isaiah said, you're not going to punk me. I'm not your little faggot. So it was like that. You know what I mean? TR wasn't even on the set when he said it. Mm-hmm. But then word got back to TR. TR had his own political issues. He and Katherine Heigl were upset and wanted off the show or wanted to get Patrik off the show. So there's all this political infighting that Isaiah ended up being the fall guy.
Yeah, and he just sort of lost it. And it was just
but he's not
much.
homophobic at all. He was in.
No,
he played gay in Get on the Bus years before it was cool. When people told him this will end your career.
No, I think it's like
I mean?
the F word as we call it and the N word as we call it. I think for some reason people think it's okay to say that word all the time. I don't even like to say it because maybe I'm old and it has such negative connotations.
I don't really like it. I mean, it's not.
It's not one of my
favorite
favorite words.
It's not even a cool word.
No, and I think
I might use the N word every now and then, but I don't.
Yeah, I don't like anything that's not communicative because I think that's as artists that's what we have, and if you're going to put something, it's got to be in the context that we understand it.
And Isaiah was always my first choice to play the father, hands down, and he said yes, and right away. So yeah.
We're going to come back. We're going to talk about Monique. We're going to talk about Blackbird. We're going to show some clips, and we'll be back in just a second here on Absolutely Jason Stuart with my pal Patrik Ian Polk, and I promise not to tease him anymore.
Hi, I'm Handy from Lady Pants, and you're watching the top 10 women who are killing it in comedy. Here's number 8. Amy Schumer. She's the first Amy that comes up when you Google Amy. Whether that's because we have stalked her so many times Google has learned she's what we want or not, we don't care. She executive produces and stars in her own sketch show, probably writes about 50% of the sketches herself, and writes and performs a shit ton of stand-up comedy at any given moment. She's self-deprecating, but also confident. She's a baller, but not inflated yet. So who cares that she uses her sexuality as a primary source of her comedy? She's killing it, and we love it. It's time for number 9. Hi, I'm Hanny from Lady Pants, and you're watching the top 10 women who are killing it in comedy. Congratulations, number 9. Kristen Wiig. If Kristen Wiig's rise to deserved stardom has taught us anything, it's how a proud parent must feel when watching their kid shit in the toilet for the first time. In the 8 years since joining the cast of SNL, she has managed to earn 2 Emmy nominations, write, produce, and star in one of the highest-grossing female-led comedies of all time, and star in 5 $150 million movies in 1 year. Everybody wants her, and she never disappoints. She's gorgeous but awkward and has the perfect balance of bringing all of herself to every role, yet simultaneously immersing herself completely in the character. She was still playing characters named Tuck Shop Employee when she was 33, relatively dead by Hollywood standards, and at the ripe old age of 43, she is a heroine to us all.
Only a few more to go. Keep watching.
And we're back at Absolutely Jason Stuart. We were just talking in the break, and we were saying that this industry, the great thing about this industry, I was just saying about the trajectory of my career from Love is Strange to Tangerine to Birth of a Nation. And 4 years ago, I thought maybe it's just time to move to Palm Springs. You know, I've talked about this on the show a lot, and things can change if you keep showing up. And that's what I did, is I kept showing up to the best of my ability. And certainly for you, I mean, Blackbird was something that you had been working on forever. And then you get Monique, who has got every, you know, Isaiah Washington and Monique. I mean, you know, you had steamer trunks to go through on this set. You know, what was it like to work with her?
It was incredible. You know, I really...
'Cause she came on as a producer, too.
I didn't expect any of that. Like, I was just going, you know, I'm an artist, and so I really try to keep the process of making the art without sounding all hoity-toity about it as pure as possible. So I try not to think about marketing and who can they, you know what I mean? I try to want to work with great actors, absolutely.
Yeah, but you picked two people that just had steamer trunks with them.
Oh, sure, yeah, but my thing is just about talent. So Isaiah was my first choice. He's my favorite actor on the planet. So I was like, that's who I want as the father. I knew enough about the industry to know the story I'm hearing on the front pages of the press cannot be the story of this whole Grey's Anatomy flap. This is the man who played gay and Get on the Bus when
something was there that didn't come out.
So I never even, that was never even a factor for me.
It was a he said, she said kind of telephone game.
Who's my favorite actor? Because I also know what happens specifically with black men. We have a, you know, we get a reputation. We can't argue like everyone else can argue because we're dangerous. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
If we have you and I have an argument on set, they're not going to call you the angry white man. But
no, they're going to call me the emotional gay guy.
Exactly.
There is. I
another
do,
stereotype.
Well, I do believe that it's not just a black guy thing. I think that it's everybody but white heterosexual Christian men. And the only person I can ever think of that in that group has been Mel Gibson, who is probably not a terrible guy. He's just an alcoholic. You know.
I know, but God, what an awful alcoholic he is.
Yeah, but I don't believe that because I think there are tons of other people
who
have had worse things than he is. Look at Robert Downey Jr. I mean, he walked into somebody's house and slept in some kid's bed, and he's a major movie star now. I really believe that I'm a big forgiveness guy. And I'm not.
I am too, but the thing is, who are we forgiving? It's always certain people just don't get forgiven. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It's like this Isaiah Washington thing is so crazy, and the way people just are lazy and just boil it all down. Like they're so shocked when he was in Blackbird. Really, I thought he was a homophobe. Like it was a fact. You know what I mean?
Well, because the news was the LGBT committee at Screen Actors Guild that I created 10 years ago was created because of him. They actually answered my letter finally because all this drama was going around. So he created a wonderful performance for you in a movie, and then and helped create a committee without even knowing it. That whatever happened with him was a linchpin that turned into something really positive.
Oh, good.
I don't understand. I did Comics Unleashed with Monique a couple years before she won the Oscar, or maybe a year before, I think. Mm-hmm. And I thought she was just crazy, funny.
She's amazing. My
charming.
Thing is, listen, I didn't have any issues with Isaiah. I had no issues with Monique. On set, Monique was as pleasant as can be, professional to a fault, like wonderful. She's not some crazy method actor that you have to walk around on eggshells with her. She's joking. She can be spitting in your face 1 minute and you yell cut, and then she's joking with you. You know what I mean? Or getting ready to do that scene, and she was back like I think trying to make it light for the other actor, and she's like practicing her physical, making sure she's going to get the right angle so that the spit will hit him right. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
She's really, there's something genius about her because then you say action, and
well, then after that she went on to do
like
Bessie and play. What's it?
She played Ma Rainey.
Ma Rainey.
Yeah.
And I got to say, I was blown away by her performance.
She's incredible.
Yeah.
It's I just want to.
And she was nominated for an Emmy for that.
Yeah, I just want to see her work. I want to see her work more.
When somebody does that to somebody, I immediately want to go to their side because I think you're right. This is a business where certain kinds of people, and it's not just black people. It's women. It's sort of like Katherine Heigl. I don't know I don't know much about her, but it seems like maybe she would ask for things that if a guy did, he would be treated completely differently.
Right.
And you've heard that, and certainly Barbara Streisand being a Jewish woman,
sure.
You've heard that from the beginning.
And look at even Hillary Clinton.
Oh my!
I mean, it's ridiculous.
She's untrustworthy.
That's the craziest. I keep when people say that, because I have Bernie Sanders supporters who said that to me, and I asked them, break down for me what she's done. That's it. She had a private email server. That's not untrustworthy. Like, you can't point.
So did Powell.
You can't point to anything and say, oh, she lied about this, or she stole this, or she, you know what I mean? It's just, it's really crazy. But with Monique, you know, I just think, like you say, everybody has there's some shit. You know what I mean? Don't think that there's not shit with Julia Roberts, or Sandra Bullock, or Nicole Kidman, or Tom Cruise, or Will Smith, or, you know what I mean?
Right.
Everybody has shit. I just feel like it's really unfortunate that the powers that be in that particular situation with Precious let all of that stuff that should have been private
it seems like Lee Daniels loves a little bit of Sean Penn. He loves a little bit of drama.
Listen, I don't know if I'm not going to lay the blame on Lee. I just look at
the big apology came out yesterday. The lawsuit was dropped.
Oh, really?
Lee apologized.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But I want people to see this because I know that people can get this film now on every platform.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Blackbird. Why don't we? It's on everything. Netflix,
Hulu, Urban Movie Channel, everywhere.
Anything you can think of that's downloadable. Let's see that. Let's take a look, and let's show everybody the trailer for the film.
Jesus in my heart.
Are you getting bored with God? What? I understand.
That you gotta follow your gut, son, and be your own man.
Tell me, do you want to be normal?
Mom, I'm sorry.
Don't you tell me you sorry when you're not. And you know the Lord is watching us. You know we're being tested.
Almighty God, look down upon this child and heal him.
Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. Whoever does not love does not know God, because God is love.
Jesus loves me, this I know.
And we're back. I love that you cast a really feminine boy as the lead. I love that because I thought that was so bold, because people don't like to do that. And you've never steered away from that, even in Noah's Ark and any of your other films. You haven't stayed away from that, the feminine side of a gay man, rather than everybody having to be this kind of, idea of what they feel gay people should be like, to be more attractive to straight people or more attractive to ourselves. We have our own masculine to feminine thermometer of sorts of the way we treat people.
Sure.
In our own, never mind black or white, just the idea in our own, in our own community, which is really sad to me.
Yeah, I mean, with Noah's Ark, I think I was maybe trying to push back on that a little bit, because Daryl, you know Daryl, he's not like Noah in real life, and people used to not believe me when I would tell them that Noah was a real creation, like his wardrobe, his mannerisms, everything. It was.
He's a lot more keep a distance kind of guy. I did a short with him, and I've known him over the years. He's a lot more like private. People will come over to him rather than him come to them.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little shy kind of guy.
Yeah, and so I just think, at the end of the day, I like being able to cast gay actors in gay parts. You know what I mean? And so, I was lucky enough to find Julian. I'm open to casting straight actors, but Julian is a gay actor. He's fantastic. He was just a kid in college. He had never acted before, And I think what's interesting to me is when gay actors play gay parts, I just think you get levels of intimacy and things that maybe you don't get a lot of times with straight actors. I'm not saying straight actors shouldn't play gay roles. I think that's fine. But when that's all that you see happening, which is what tends to happen, especially with any kind of mainstream thing that's going to have gay.
It's changed a little, but not that much.
It's changed a little, but you know.
You'll see it in any kind of sitcom or any kind of dramatic show. Usually the more prominent of the gay character, whether it be gay or lesbian or gay, is usually played by a straight person. And the person that's recurring or sort of got a one-time thing all of a sudden and then becomes it happens so much that there's no mistaking it, I think.
Right.
You know, I think. So what's next for you? What do you want next?
I don't know. I'm writing, writing a couple of new TV shows, hoping to sell something. I think it's a good time, like we're having conversations about diversity and a lot of that in Hollywood. So I think it's a good time. The industry seems more open now than ever to different perspectives.
Well, Oscar So White was a big slap in the face, whether it was, I don't know, I think in the last 15 years, certainly there's been I think every other year a black woman has won supporting actress. And I remember when Octavia Spencer won, and I have a kid that I mentor, and we were watching the Oscars, and he says, "Why is everyone standing up when she won? What's the big deal?" I said, "Well, number one, she's over 40. Number two, she's black. Number three, she's overweight. And she just won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress in a major film that made over $100 million. She won the lottery. That just does not happen every day.
Yeah.
And every couple of years, it seems like a woman is winning that award, and that's sort of exciting. And certainly more men have been nominated for Best Actor, and Forrest Whitaker, and Denzel won again, and there was one other, I'm trying to think of who won or was nominated. And I went to a symposium on diversity in film, and these people who were from USC and AFI and all these people, they were collegiate people talking about why different kinds of people don't get to star in movies and different stories aren't told. And they kept saying, going all the way back to the women's picture, like Terms of Endearment, which was one of the biggest movies in the early 80s, and they said, oh, well, that was just a fluke. And I don't, but when you see Stallone, who'll do 20 million Rockies and this, and then these other films that make big bombs, and he would continue to get roles and things, and no one ever said, oh, that was just a fluke for him. It seems like people think if it's an action film and it's going all over the world and people are getting shot in the head and killed, that's okay, that they continue to make those over and over, whether they're successful or not.
Sure.
I mean, even Ryan Reynolds, after The Green Hornet, you think he'd never get a chance again to do an action film. And it just goes to show you that it's a crapshoot.
Yeah.
Just like you say, I call it the carrot. It's always there. We're always holding the carrot up. And I think that that's what keeps people going. But I do believe that hopefully this year will show that just being white, heterosexual, and Christian and a male in movies and TV shows, or even in the theater sometimes too, it doesn't always have to be about them. And the rest of us don't have to all wait in line. And hopefully the world will become more diverse.
Yeah.
And with all the different channels. That's my hope.
I think it is. I mean, it seems to be happening. With the success of something like Empire, which is so...
Oh, yeah.
The magnitude of that was
big surprise
industry-wide. So hopefully people are waking up.
I think so. So if people want to get a hold of you, how do they do that?
I'm all over social media. It's usually just my name, Patrik Ian Polk, Patrikian.
Patrik.
IANPOLK. So I'm on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, and I post and let people know what I'm doing and all that good stuff.
And if you forget, just go to jasonstewart.com like you always do and hit me up and let me know who you want and what you want to feel or touch, and I'll send you on to him. This has been so great to have you on the show. I've wanted you for probably around 3 years.
Thank you. No, I'm happy to be here.
Yes.
I'm a big fan, you know that.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Everyone, take care. We'll talk to you next week.
He's absolutely Jason, he's absolutely gay. He'll absolutely brighten up the darkest rainy day. He's funny and loves movies, he's smart and he's a Jew. He's an actor and